Grab your iPhone right now. There is a menu buried 4 taps deep inside your settings that Apple does not want you to find. It tells you, in plain English, whether Apple is slowing down your phone at this very moment. It has been there since 2018. Apple put it there because a court forced them to, and then they buried it in a submenu that 96% of iPhone users have never seen. I'm going to show you exactly where it is, exactly what it says, and exactly what to do about it. But first, you need to understand what Apple did in 2017. Because once you see the full picture, you will never look at your iPhone the same way again. You felt it. Everybody has. You buy a new iPhone. It's fast. Apps snap open. Scrolling is butter. Everything feels like the future. Then a year passes, 18 months, 2 years, and the phone starts dragging. Apps take an extra second to load. The keyboard lags behind your fingers. Safari stutters. You swipe and nothing happens for half a beat. You think, this phone is getting old. The hardware is wearing out. Time for a new one. That's not what's happening. Your processor is fine, your RAM is fine, your screen, your speakers, your cameras, all fine. The thing that changed is your battery. It degraded, naturally. Every lithium-ion battery loses capacity over time. After 500 charge cycles, most iPhone batteries sit between 80 and 85% of original capacity. That is normal, that is physics. And Apple knows it. What Apple decided to do with that information is the part that cost them $500 million. In January 2017, Apple pushed iOS 10.2.1 to every compatible iPhone on the planet. Buried in that update was a feature Apple did not announce, did not disclose, and did not give you the option to turn off. The feature detected when your battery had degraded past a certain threshold, and when it did, it throttled your processor, deliberately, silently, without your knowledge, without your consent. Your $999 iPhone was suddenly running at 40 to 50% of its maximum speed. Not because the chip was old, not because the hardware was failing, because Apple decided, on your behalf without telling you, to slow it down via a software switch you could not see and could not touch. And here's where it gets interesting. They didn't just slow it down, they slowed it down in a way that felt exactly like aging hardware. The symptoms were identical: sluggish apps, delayed animations, keyboard lag. The average consumer could not distinguish between a phone with a degraded battery being throttled and a phone that was genuinely obsolete. And that confusion was... Now, Apple will tell you the throttling was about safety, preventing unexpected shutdowns, protecting the user experience, and that argument is not entirely wrong. A degraded battery can cause voltage drops that crash the phone mid-task. That's real. But here is the part Apple leaves out of every press release and every Genius Bar conversation. The fix was never throttling. The fix was always a new battery, $89, sometimes less. $40 at a third-party repair shop, $29 with a do-it-yourself iFixit kit. A new battery restores the phone to 95% of its original performance. The processor goes back to full speed. The phone feels new again, for $89 instead of $999. But Apple never told you that. Not in 2017. Not when your phone started dragging. Not when you walked into the Apple store and the Genius Bar employee looked at your sluggish iPhone 7 and said the words Apple trained them to say, "Have you considered upgrading to the latest model?" In December 2017, a developer named John Poole published data from Geekbench, a widely used benchmarking app, that proved what millions of people had suspected but couldn't verify. iPhones with degraded batteries were running dramatically slower than the exact same models with fresh batteries. Not a little slower, dramatically. The data was undeniable. Thousands of devices. Clear pattern, clear correlation. The story exploded. Batterygate. It became one of the biggest consumer technology scandals of the decade. Apple's response came in stages. First, denial by silence. Then, a carefully worded press release admitting the feature existed but framing it as a benefit. Then, under mounting legal pressure from class action lawsuits in the United States, investigations by the FTC, and regulatory action in Europe, Apple did 3 things. 1. They temporarily dropped the price of battery replacements from $79 to $29 for 1 year. 1 year. Then the price went back up. 2. They added a battery health menu to iOS, the menu I'm going to show you, the one that tells you if your phone is being throttled, but they buried it in settings, under battery health, in a submenu most users don't know exists. 3. In 2020, they settled the class action lawsuit for $500 million. That sounds massive until you do the math. Apple makes roughly $200 billion a year from iPhone sales alone. $500 million is 0.25%. It's a Tuesday. It's a line item. The fine for getting caught was less than what Apple earns in a single afternoon. The only difference between 2017 and today is that now there's a menu that tells you it's happening. A menu Apple was forced to create by a court settlement. a menu they then buried 4 taps deep where you would never accidentally find it. France didn't buy the safety argument. In 2020, France fined Apple 25 million euros specifically for planned obsolescence, not for the throttling itself, but for failing to inform consumers that software updates would degrade the performance of their devices. 25 million euros. Apple made that back before lunch. The cycle works like this, and it has worked like this for years. You buy a new iPhone at 100% battery capacity and full processor speed. Year 1, iOS updates increase processing demands while your battery begins its natural degradation. Year 2, the battery drops to 85 or 90%. iOS activates performance management. Your phone slows down, you don't know why. Year 3, you've had enough. The phone feels old. You walk into the store, you buy a new one. The old phone, which has nothing wrong with it except an $80 battery, gets traded in for $150. Apple refurbishes it, puts in a new battery for pennies, and sells it again for $499. They profit on the sale of the new phone. They profit on the resale of the old phone. And you funded both transactions because nobody told you about a menu that was sitting in your settings the entire time. Everything I've uncovered across this channel, every hidden setting, every buried feature, every manufacturer trick designed to make you spend more, it's all inside one guide now. The Tech Rescue Manual. Every hack, every workaround, every dollar you're leaving on the table. Link in the description. Get it now because the information in the next 60 seconds is going to make you want to check every device in your house. But stay right here because I'm about to put your iPhone in your hands and show you exactly what Apple is doing to it in real time. Now, if you already have an older iPhone and you're thinking this only affects people with the latest models, stay with me. This affects every iPhone from the iPhone 6 forward. Every single one. If your phone has ever had an iOS update, and it has, this applies to you. Pick up your iPhone. We're doing this together. 10 seconds. Open settings. Tap battery. Tap battery health. Here's what your number means in practical terms. 95 to 100%. Your battery is healthy. Throttling is unlikely. 85 to 94%. Degradation is underway. Throttling is possible and may already be active. 80 to 84%. Apple considers this degraded. Throttling is probable. Below 80%, Apple recommends replacement. Throttling is almost certain. Now look below that number. This is the line Apple buried. Peak performance capability. If it says your battery is currently supporting normal peak performance, you're clear. Your phone is running at full speed. If it says anything else, if it mentions an unexpected shutdown, if it mentions performance management being applied, if there is a small blue link that says disable, your iPhone is being throttled right now. Apple has reduced your processor speed via software. Your $1,000 phone is performing like a model from 3 generations ago. Not because it can't handle the work, because Apple decided it shouldn't. That disable link, tap it. It turns off performance management and restores your processor to full speed immediately. Apple warns that this may cause unexpected shutdowns on severely degraded batteries. That's true. If your battery is at 70% capacity, running the processor at full speed can cause voltage drops. But if your battery is at 82, 85, 88%, which is where most throttled phones sit, disabling performance management gives you back the phone you paid for. And if your battery is genuinely worn out, here is what to do instead of spending $999 on a new iPhone. Option 1, Apple battery replacement. Walk into any Apple store or authorized service provider. $89 for iPhone 12 through 15 models, $79 for older models. Takes about an hour. You walk out with a phone that performs like the day you bought it. Option 2, third-party repair, U-Breaky-Fix, Batteries Plus, or any reputable local repair shop. $40 to $60, same result, 30 to 45 minutes. Option 3, do it yourself. An iFixit battery replacement kit costs $25 to $35 and comes with every tool you need. Takes about 20 minutes if you've never done it before. iFixit provides step-by-step video instructions for every iPhone model. Let me line up those numbers one more time. New iPhone, $799 to $1,109. The price difference between buying a new phone and fixing the actual problem, $710 to $1,170. Per upgrade cycle avoided. Over 10 years, the average iPhone user buys 3 to 4 phones. If you replaced the battery twice instead and kept each phone for 5 to 7 years, you'd buy 2 phones and 2 batteries instead of 4 phones. Total savings, $1,500 to $2,500 over a decade. On the same phone that Apple told you was too old to use, a viewer in Michigan checked his iPhone 12 Pro after watching a similar breakdown. Maximum capacity, 79%. Performance management, active. His phone had been throttled for 7 months without his knowledge. He replaced the battery at a local repair shop for $49. His Geekbench score went from 2,800 to 4,400 overnight. 57% faster. Same phone, same chip, same everything, except the battery. Another viewer in Florida had been saving for an iPhone 15 Pro because her iPhone 11 was, in her words, unusable. Battery health, 76%. Performance management, fully active. She replaced the battery through Apple for $69. Her exact message, it feels like a brand new phone. I canceled my pre-order. That is what a hidden menu and a $69 battery can do. That's what Apple buried 4 taps deep in your settings and hoped you'd never check. The hardware in your hand is not dying. The battery is. And the battery is a $70 part that takes an hour to swap. Everything else, the processor, the screen, the cameras, the storage, works exactly as well today as it did the day you unboxed it. Apple engineered the phone to last. Then they engineered the software to make sure it wouldn't feel like it. Drop your battery health percentage in the comments right now. I want to see the real numbers. What model iPhone are you using, and what is your maximum capacity? Let's build the biggest battery health data set on YouTube. And if you've replaced your battery and gotten your speed back, tell us what it cost and where you went. Your experience is going to save somebody $1,000 this week. Hit subscribe because next week I'm going to show you the hidden setting inside every Samsung TV that makes the